We are back live again. Today we're going to be talking about designing a real world UI UX design project, and we're going to do that as we speak. This is going to be such an incredible build because we've already built out half of the site, and the next half is going to be the much more mind-blowing parts of this entire website. I'm super duper happy to be designing this, and I hope you learn something. So let's just get started. This is day 2 of us designing a real world UI UX design project live. Let's go. If you've seen the stream yesterday, which I do highly recommend, just before this video, we were designing a site for the Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass, which is coming out 2nd of March, Sunday. And we were building out the elements for the landing page. This is where we're currently at. We have a nice notification bar, the perfect, most pixel perfect, mind-blowing hero section in the whole entire world. All of the different features that we were going to cover. This is especially my favorite part of the screen whatsoever. The different bento blogs and a really, really nice semi-opaque effect going on over here. We then had this final page in the UI which just drives our point home, which is also super duper incredible to look at. We have a list of all of the things that we're going to be covering, and then we sort of switch things up when things do get boring. We add a sort of tilted 45-degree angle rectangle to just shake things up. Nobody knows says hello, welcome back. This is day 2 of us designing a real world site, and so this is where we were yesterday. Today we're going to be building the advanced things that were going on over here, which is why I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun. If you're excited, type hello in the chat. Say where you're from. This is going to be incredible. And there's just so much that I have to talk about today regarding designing your first real world project, how you would go about that. And if you guys want to see how to build an actual style guide, we did that yesterday, but it's also coming up today, so that is going to be fun as well. This is where we're currently at. We've just reviewed it, and we have a couple of things. MTG says hello in the chat. Nobody knows says I need some guidance from you. Please let me know what guidance you need. By the way, I'm so sorry for doing this, but this might actually be helpful. If any of you guys want to talk to me live, I can answer all of your questions wherever it is that you're getting stuck, wherever it is that you're having problems. Sign up for the Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass, because at the end of it, there is a dedicated question answer session where you guys can just talk. It's a very, very small group of just 10 people. And this feels like the perfect point to be bringing this up. If you don't yet have a portfolio, or if your portfolio right now isn't working, isn't getting you job opportunities for freelance, it is the smallest price ever, $14.92. What's that? Like a pizza in this current day. But for the smallest price, you can talk to me live. I can clear up all of your doubts, because I now see in all of our community, there is so much going on that people want to talk about, whether it's in their portfolio, whether it's anything specific. But by any means, if there's any question that I can answer from the chat, that would be awesome as well. All right, with that out of the way, if you guys want to talk to me live, we can have so much fun. The Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass happens 2nd of March, Sunday, 5 to 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, or 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If you want to sign up, link is in the description. Do not miss it. And we only have 10 seats, and a couple of them are filled. So as I'm saying this, it's a time sensitive issue. All right, with that out of the way, let's now build what we need to build from this point on. So I just showed you where we left the site yesterday. I think we need to make this smaller because this is ginormous and no one can see anything. Hold on. Wow, this is extremely weird. Figma, why do you do this to me? Oh no. Hold on. This is Figma giving us trouble again. Anyways, let's leave that behind. There are a couple of things that we need to talk about today, that we need to design today. Let's dive into what we're making today and how we're expanding the stuff that we've already built. So this was where we left things to yesterday, but I feel like for any real site to be launched, even if it's my project, your client's project, you need to have clear validation of the exclusive benefits that you're offering for any product at all. Like, you don't have to be enrolled in my product or know anything about it for us to say, while I'm making a real world product, it is very important to highlight the exclusive bonuses of any product, any site that you're ever working on. It is really important to have a clear list of all of the different advantages that users get. By the way, you guys, if you want any of these advantages and they're just right in front of your face, you can also sign up for them, link in the description. But that aside, if you want to position your product as the king of the market, you have to clearly point out the prices and what's included. You also have to point out the frequently asked questions. This is sometimes I see designers leaving this out all the time, and then it becomes a problem because now you can't answer the questions that people are having. Now they're going to be thinking to themselves and maybe creating by themselves through their understanding a response of your product, which may not be true or it may not be beneficial to your image, which is why you need to address the common concerns beforehand. And so with that, this is the frequently asked question, and at the end of the frequently asked questions, you can also have a call to action, clear call to action, bringing your users back to where they need to go to. And at the end, we have a really fancy pixelated weird looking footer, but it's my favorite footer I've done in a while, so I'm just going to keep it at that. Might add a couple of social media links, but might not. Nobody knows says, I'm working in a startup as a UI UX designer and I'm also a front-end developer. Please guide me on getting shortlisted in the crowd. I'm so glad you asked this question. I have two answers for you. Since I'm also a UI designer, full stack developer, I feel like this is the perfect point to say this. Sometimes when we're caught in this world of, I have a lot of skill set, but I'm only employed in a subset of my skill set, if that makes sense, and I want to expand, the most important thing you can do, the most important thing I did back in the day was position yourself exactly as you are. And now this positioning may not be for your current company because this is a startup. They might not have the openings. These are just real world issues that you'll see all the time. So there is no guarantee that you might have the opportunities that you should have for your skill set now in your current company. And if that's the case, or if you just want to take development jobs on the freelance side, so if you don't want to quit your job, there is also a very valid thing that you can do where you keep your job but you also work on development projects on the side as freelance. I feel like in both of those cases, and I know from some point of views it might look like I'm promoting something I have on my own page, but I feel like this is the point where a rebrand of your portfolio is required, and you can just get that rebrand made in 3 hours. All of the stuff that we're doing in this masterclass is code based, but you might have a better understanding of it. Even if you don't have to know anything about code prior to this masterclass to walk out within 3 hours. You have total control over your own portfolio. So I feel like a rebrand of your current image would be required in order to position yourself as not just a UI designer. Because if you take your current CV and portfolio and go to another company, now they're going to be thinking in the mindset of, this person has experience as a UI designer, it would only be appropriate to put them in the position of a UI designer. So now you're sort of going in this singular lane, and it becomes very difficult for you to show to the people who are giving you these opportunities, whether it's employers, whether it's freelance clients, that you can have range, you can have front-end development experience, you can have back-end development experience. So you're basically going for a complete rebrand of who you are now that you've added to your skill set. And in these situations, when you're stuck where you are, I feel like having a complete portfolio rebrand helps a lot. And this is why I feel like the Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass is such a blessing, because every single person who walks into this masterclass, only 10 people at max, will walk out with a different looking portfolio. This is what we're starting with as a template, but we're also giving you full customizability as UI UX designers to basically change your look to not look like you've all come out of one singular template. And that is very, very important when it comes to positioning yourself differently. So I feel like, in my most honest opinion, whether you choose this masterclass, whether you choose another way to rebrand yourself, completely redefining who you are becomes really important at this point, because most people are not going to take you seriously, because now you have UI UX experience, which is more reliable than playing the wild card of front end, which they don't know you have right now. So it's about building trust of your abilities in other people's eyes, and that requires a simple rebrand. You can get it from this perfect masterclass, or you can get it from anywhere else, but I feel like having that rebrand going will really help you in the long term, if that makes sense. Oh wow, I ranted on for too long, but that aside, let's jump back into what we were doing. We were designing the portfolio masterclass website, and we were also adding a bunch of these things that we've not previously added. So let's just start with that. The first thing you need to add in this new portfolio is your very own exclusive bonus section. So we're just going to get started with that. Let's just zoom in. And now that we have this built out, let's bring this a little bit lower. Let's just open up the space, and now we're just going to get started with all of the different elements that we're now going to add. So the first thing we're going to add is exclusive bonus. I could use a ton of illustrations, or I could use a ton of images, but that becomes a problem at this point, because we've built a site up to this point that clearly relies on emoji based images only, or just very, very strictly business, very, very strictly what we're building out. So that becomes a bit of an issue. When that is the case, you want to have a similar sort of illustration. So you can't bring in a new stock image and hope it will work out okay. When you've worked with emojis for this long a time, it becomes really important to have another emoji going. Let's just get started with that. So you know where I like to get my emojis from. Go down here to the resources section, search for Iconify, and now we're going to get the boom emoji from Microsoft Corporation's icon list. I feel like this is the flex emoji shaded icon list. We're just going to search for blast. Hopefully that gives, or boom. Oops. Hopefully that gives us the emoji that we're sort of looking for. Let's just search for the next piece of illustration that we want to add over here, and then we can just go ahead with that. Where did you go? It just becomes really, really easy for all of these emojis to get lost, because Figma has slowed down for me significantly ever since I started heavily going 100% with the design. It's so slow, and it just kills you on the inside. I think I forgot the name of the weird blast emoji. It wasn't boom, because that's getting us nowhere. It wasn't blast. It wasn't pop. No. What was that weird emoji? Hold on. That was the perfect emoji. I now have to search for it. Let's just give this a moment. Skip forward if you're watching this on replay. Oh god, where did you go? Simples, travels, places. This is the most annoying thing in the whole world. Not knowing where your emoji is, where it got lost in the crowd. Wow, so annoying. Let's just give this a moment to search. Oh no, I don't think this is going to load while we're streaming. Let me just get that image from the complete UI itself, because otherwise it's just going to take way too long, a time we do not have currently. I'm just quickly copying this image because real world project, can't afford to waste time. But you can find it from the fluent emoji icons collision. I just forgot about this completely. Collision. All right, with that out of the way, the next thing we're building out is our title, is our description, and we're just going to replicate the exact same title that we used before. Let's just get this right here, copy paste, and we're just going to bring this down. The true challenge after a point just becomes changing text, which is just super duper simple stuff. Make sure to have it on top of your collision, right click, bring to front, and that's just going to add your title on the layer of the blast. Let's just copy this guy, paste it right here. This is the exclusive bonus, obviously. I feel like this is a very useful masterclass in itself, even if you're thinking about signing up. Like, this is just really useful for my audience as a whole. That's the whole point. And it's just so true, it keeps coming back to you. Now we're just copying this chunk of text and we're trying to break it down into more digestible pieces. I've seen so many course signups over the internet where people are promoting their own course, promoting whatever they're doing right now. And even in development, you'd be surprised, even in design and development, it just becomes this huge chunk of text which no one wants to read. Like, if you are a web developer, web designer, and people are getting bored with what you're doing, that's a true indication of you're doing something wrong. And it's so horrible to watch. Like, it's this is what makes me bleed out of my eyes. Wow, insane. And now we're just bringing this into a much bigger size. Let's increase the font size, because who doesn't want a large font size? Large font size is our friend. Such a weird story, I once did a project for a company, and the head told me my oversized fonts looked childish. That was hurtful, and it still keeps coming back to me till this day. But I feel like you do need to have a keen sense of style to be okay with the newer design trends, and sometimes it's a very wild bet as well. Will people like it? Will people not like it? And it becomes a true issue when you're building for someone else, and when they have very clear opinions on how things need to be done, and this just becomes a hassle really quickly, which is why I'll just do it in my own projects for the most part. Let's just get the most important parts of this text highlighted. We just want a couple of phrases that are really important highlighted now. Wow, Figma, load up. Why are you wasting so much time? Come on, load up. Don't be an idiot, Figma, load up. Wow. We're just now highlighting the most important parts of this sentence, because we want the user to just immediately see this, even if they don't see everything else. That's just the only and main motivation over here. And with that, we've sort of broken down this weird chunk of text into a more digestible piece. People know where to look, people know what to focus on first, as opposed to this huge paragraph and getting scared and running away. That is the most important primary concern. Once this is done, now we're going to talk about what we're going to get, because with any product launch, even if you're doing your own product, even if you're doing this for some client, you always want to have a very clear list of what the users are getting, and you want to have it all over the place. Like, if there is an advantage that you can provide to a user, and I feel like I'm exposing my own strategies here, but if there is an advantage you can provide to a user, you should provide it in text, in a to-do list sort of fashion, everywhere you can. Like, you should not miss that opportunity, because as humans, seeing the list of every advantage that we're getting really helps in decision making. Really helps. And we're just going to get our list of advantages from over here, because why would we not? If you're confused about the styling that we're using today, if you're confused about the fonts and the color choices that we're using today, we built out a literal entire style guide yesterday in the yesterday's live stream, which was part 1 of this video. Just go check it out. It's on the channel. What you get is the next section we're building out, and obviously we need to do a couple of things. We need to increase the font size first of all. You don't need to have a lot of complicated stuff going on, as long as you're just clear on what you're building out, and that's literally all you need. Let's just make this bigger, increase the size, align everything in the center. I feel like you could reduce the size at this point. It's just perfect for this specific font size. And with that, we have the bonus section ready. The next thing I'm going to do now is build out this clear white bar. And I've said this a bunch of times, I will say it again. Sometimes when the exact same background color gets boring, you need to switch it up. You can do a thin strip, you can do a whole exact half a page of white, but you have to change up colors every so often just so things remain interesting. Let's just switch things up. Alright, now we're going to build out a frame that sort of switches things up, makes things more interesting. Add a fill of white, because why not? And now we're going to say this is your chance to get expert insights directly, and we're just going to add all of our text. Just very, very simple stuff. Nothing you haven't seen before, and yet very, very clear. Let's just zoom into that. Where is my rocket? This is what we're working with. All right, we'll just bring this out here. I feel like we just pasted in the same exact location, which was worthless. And now we're switching things up. We're switching over the font to outfit. We're changing the font weight to medium. We're also changing the font case to uppercase. And we also need to just get really, really strict with the highlights here. So I feel like we're just going to start with semi-bold, align everything in the center, and we're just going to position it so it just looks good enough. We're just going to shift it above, make sure the font size is a little bit bigger. I encourage you to follow along to this UI as well, because in and of itself, this is a real world project, very, very interesting as a build, and it'll give you a lot of practical experience into why we do the things we do, which is UX for you. Speaking of UX, we just launched the world's easiest UX design crash course. If you haven't checked it out yet, what are you doing? What weird rock are you living under? If you already have checked it out, let me know what you think. Leave a comment there, leave a comment here. I'm always happy to read comments. Did anyone check out the most amazing UX design crash course that we just did? Did anyone? Because I feel like a lot of you did, and everyone's just shy about it now. And with that, we have the strip of efficiency, the strip of bonus highlighted right in front of our faces. The next thing we're building out is the price and what's included. This is a really, really unique and important section, because price and what's included is a feature that you're going to have to build out with every single software as a service. So you need to have this under control. This needs to look clear, this needs to look cool, and this needs to have a really clear list of every single advantage that you are providing to the user, which is why price and what's included is like the most important section. And even if you're working with a single price range, you need to have what you're doing really, really clearly over here. Let's just build that out really quickly. Price and what's included. And this is just going to be our previous title. We're just going to bring this over from right here. We're going to copy it, bring it down, paste here, and also align everything in the center. And now with everything perfectly aligned in the center, now we're changing things up to price and what's included. We're just going to copy this, bring it down here, and paste everything and match styles. This and is super duper cool. Like, I never noticed this, but the Pixelify sans and is a cool phenomenon in itself. Price and what's included. And now we're building out an actual pricing box. Let's just shift this above. And we're also going to build out a complete pricing rectangle, which is a pricing card, which is something you always need to have when you're building out anything real in the whole wide world. Let's add a border radius. You know what? Not that much. 45 is fine. And we're just going to make sure it's perfectly aligned in the center. And now we're going to add the price, because who doesn't love money? No, I'm kidding. We're just going to have to highlight what we're doing really, really clearly. But a little bit of the money thing as well. Now we need an Indian rupee sign. The problem with Indian rupee signs is they are not available on this keyboard right here. So you have to search for rupee sign Wikipedia, and that gives you the typable format. We're just going to copy this out, bring it down here, paste it, and with that we have are really, really cool. Sign. Again, I know the font that we're using for the title is super duper cool, but when you're working with something as crucial as pricing, you want to use the clearest font possible, because again, confusion will lead to problems, and the one thing you don't want is confusion. Let's just get it out of the way. So this is a discounted price from 2100 to 1492, and we're just going to put that down as clearly as we can, add a strike through just so we can cut what we don't need, and we're going to also fade this out a little bit just so we have a sense of what we're working with. Let's just bring this down here and also blur this out a little bit, just enough to show that there is a visual advantage that you now get by signing up at the current rate. Let's reduce the thickness for this. Align it perfectly, and now we're just going to type out one-time payment. Let's just zoom in and get the word one-time payment. This is a very, very effective breakdown of what it looks like to have a huge chunk of copy text and break it down across every single page of your website, just so things are nice and easy to look at. Let's just get this guy down here. Change the font to outfit, change the font case to all caps, which is capital fit from right here. And now we're going to make this thicker, of course, which is going to be semi-bold. Just add this below your text, and now we're going to add this huge list of advantages, because who doesn't need advantages? Everyone needs advantages. I'm just going to get my whole list of advantages from the background. And again, this is a 3-hour masterclass, fully customizable portfolio website, step-by-step guidance, no guesswork. Who wouldn't want all of these advantages? This is the simplest thing and yet the most effective thing of all. Let's zoom in, add this over here, align this perfectly in the center. And you can just adjust the height and weight depending on whatever you need the width to be. We're just going to align this perfectly in the center, shift it above by a couple of pixels, and we're also going to add our sign up now button, which is the call to action. Let's get the join now button from right here. We're sort of repeating the same exact button because we don't want to make anything appear inconsistent. Consistency becomes really important when you're scaling anything related to UI UX design at all. And we're just going to work with this, sort of make it rounded off, because rounded corners and rounded button corners just work well together. That's just the way things are. We're just going to round this guy off. We're going to just change this to, say, let's do 25. 24 is fine too. Let's just keep it at that. And we're going to increase the font size because we've just increased the size of the button, and increasing a font size would be a good choice from this point on. Let's change this to 44. I need to plug this laptop in. And with that, we have the join now button in front of us. And now we're just going to scale this page to be a little bit bigger because, of course, we're expanding. Of course, a lot of stuff needs to be added. We've added the join now section, and now we're going to build out the next section, which is signing up today and adding the little terms and conditions, whatever it is that you need to get your point across with. Let's just get that out the way really, really quickly. Let's just get this text selected. I feel like this is the perfect example of taking a huge chunk of text and breaking it down into very, very digestible, very, very easy to understand pieces for a real world website. Let's just change this to white. Let's also change this to 22 because why not? Font family is going to be outfit. Font size is going to be 22. Font weight might be medium because, of course, this is a little too small. You know what, let's just make this even smaller. Let's bring this down to 16. We could go above 16, that might be fun as well. 20 is fine. And now we're just going to align this perfectly in the center, because center alignment is a gift from God, and it just makes things really, really easy for all users in the whole wide world. And now we're building out the next cool thing, which is, hold on, I forgot what the next cool thing is. You've got to give me the time to remember. Now we're building out frequently asked questions. These are the questions literally everyone is going to have, and you need to answer them really, really quickly, really, really easily, because this is going to affect your overall conversion rate. Speaking of conversion rates, if you would like a perfect portfolio to get your career started in UI UX design, what are you waiting for? Go sign up for the Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass now. Links in the description. And now we're just going to get the FAQs section. Where did the FAQs title go? I feel like we lost it somewhere. Frequently asked questions. Here we are. Let's get rid of all of that. Copy frequently asked questions, go down here, paste it and match styles. And now we're going to add a couple of questions. So this is just really, really simple stuff. The way we're going to do this is we're going to add a frame, add the width, add a frame, add the background color white. We're going to make sure we have a border radius, because everyone needs a border radius in this day and age, in the times of inflation. And we're going to align this perfectly with the border radius. And now we're going to complete this FAQ accordion. Let's add our first question. Who is this? What was the first question again? Who is this for? Let's add who is this for. Not in this techie font, in obviously outfit, but who is this for? Change the font to be outfit. Wow, I can't type. Look at me, the person who just can't type. We're going to change this to be 36 and change the font weight to be medium. Let's also bring this up to 40. Zoom in, align this perfectly over here, and we're also going to build out a weird accordion for ourselves. Let's just go right here, add an accordion, and that is going to be our icon, the open icon. And I feel like you could get this from Iconify or one of the cool icon places, but this is fine too, as long as it looks balanced enough to say okay on. Let's change this color to be the background color that we're using, because of course we're not using black on this site, which is awesome. And I feel like this is the perfect reusable frame component. You could duplicate this a bunch of times. Oops, I feel like we duplicated it in the wrong place. We're just going to duplicate this a bunch of times. And we're going to have our own collection of frequently asked questions. And once we've done that, let's also now add this slider, which talks about the question and which answers the actual question itself. Let's bring this right here, make this bigger. Add a fill. What just happened? Wow, that was weird. I feel like we made a frame and just put our FAQs inside of it for some weird reason. We're just going to bring this out here, make this bigger, make it stay the entire width, add a fill, make sure the fill is white, make sure the border radius is exactly the same as the border radius for the previous container, and we don't want any border radius going for the top corners, so we're just going to bring those down to 0. Once that is done, now we can actually bring out the actual answer to this question, which is going to be, who is this for? And here's a list of the answers. Let's just zoom in, paste this guy right here, reduce the width, align them perfectly. Let's just get these aligned really, really quickly. And now we're going to increase the font size, obviously. Let's make this semi-bold. Perfectly align things in the center. Font family is going to be outfit. Let's make this bold. And we're also going to add the final line of designers who want more freedom. Let's just increase this size a little bit. Again, line height becomes really important when you're showing off bullet points, because a little bit of space is always a good thing. And I forgot to add the fourth line, which needs to be added now. And now we're sort of increasing the height, because of course we need to increase the height. We're sort of reducing the line height now. And we're making sure we have an equal amount of height and width. And so we're just going to change this, make these thicker, and we're going to highlight the elements that we need the user to look at. So for example, if you don't have a portfolio yet, if you're struggling to showcase your portfolio work, showcase your work professionally, and we're just going to highlight the elements that need clear difference in terms of what we're building out. So sleek modern portfolio is also a word that we need the user to look at. And also I feel like this is the most important. If you're a designer whose portfolio isn't getting freelance clients or interviews, you should change your portfolio, sign up for the launch your own portfolio masterclass, link in the description. Not sponsored. And now we're just going to change all of these FAQs back again. So we have a bunch of questions that we need to change to. So the first question was, who is this for? The second is, do I need coding experience? No, you absolutely do not. You can just start with zero coding experience, and by the end of the 3 hours of this masterclass, you'll know how to work with your portfolio, you'll know how to expand on it, how to work on it, how to just be prepared for literally everything. What do I need before the class? You just need a laptop, stable internet, and enthusiasm. The simplest things in the world, which you probably have right now. Is this a one-time fee? Absolutely. This is a one-time fee, although the cost for the hosting and domain name becomes yours. And with that, this is sort of a choose your own kind of accordion, so people can choose to view the elements that they want to view. And the last thing that we're obviously building out is our footer. I am really, really excited about this footer because it is a little bit fancier than the stuff we usually do, inspired by the super cool awards sites and the sites that are basically taking the internet by storm because of their amazing design. We're going with something unconventional. We had a weird font with us. Just wait for it. This is going to be the most amazing reveal you've ever seen for a footer. Although I feel like an amazing reveal for a footer is a small category to compete in. Pixelify Sans is the font that we're using. We're going to increase the font size to a huge number. We're going to bring this up to 450. And that's just going to be it. You can add a little bit of your social media links. I might at some point sort of structure things around here. How I would do that becomes a question now. How would you add... I now got an interesting idea. We can add all social media links on LYOP, launch your own portfolio. Let's do that. That seems to be a really, really interesting take on things. This is the most amazing footer you've ever seen, by the way. So we're just going to search for we're going to search for Instagram. This is going to give us an Instagram icon. We're also going to search for YouTube. Who doesn't need YouTube? We're also going to search for X, Twitter. It's become really difficult to search for like Twitter by the word X. That's weird. And we're just going to bring this down, scale the size down, and we're going to sort of position these in the footer itself, because social media icons in the footer really, really fun. And this is the most amazing one I've ever done. Let's also do X. Where did my X icon go? I feel like I lost it somewhere. Let's get this guy down here. And we're back. Sorry for that weird interruption. A wire did something weird and I had to check. Being me, I feel like my YouTube is the more sort of primary thing when it comes to just being online, so I have to position it perfectly. I feel like you're watching the most innovative footer in the world get made, because this is the weirdest way I've seen and the most innovative way I've seen a footer being made at all in my life. The thing with the X icon is it might get mixed up, which is weird. What other I seem to forget what social media icon should I have over here. Like, hold on, what other great social media icons do I have? I'm taking suggestions from the comments, by the way. I feel like I'll just add DevFast's icon because that is my brand and it's the most important thing to me of all. Let's just get our icon. Wow, can I search for the DevFast icon online? I have high hopes, but the SEO might be weird. Can I get it? I can, I think I can. Let's just copy this because I have the most high resolution icon, but it's hidden away somewhere and getting it back would be another big headache. So let's just get it from the internets. And with that, I have the 4 most important links related to this site and related to everything at all. With that, we've sort of figured out. Harsh says Gmail or Discord. Oh, how do I just forget Discord? Wow, thank you so much, Harsh. I am a complete idiot. How is it possible that I spend the entirety of this channel's lifetime just promoting and creating a Discord community, and when the time comes, I just forget all about it. That's pure and complete idiocy. And I'm just adding a just forget that. I feel disappointed in myself. You don't need to feel disappointed in me, internet. I forgot my own Discord community. That's so horrible. And with that, we have our very own LYOP footer ready with us. I feel like you could add contact me options, and I will add those options here as well. Let me add the email ID that needs to be there, because who doesn't need emails these days? Everyone needs an email ID. I have a major concern with the font that we're using, which is readability, because why not? But you know what? Hacktoberfest was fine. Hacktoberfest used this weird font and they were fine. So I would be fine too. Let's just... What the hell did I just do? Hacktoberfest was fine. I'm going to be fine with a weird ass font as well. Wow. I really can't copy and paste things, can I? And we're just going to add the contact us. Wow, you can't read this font. This is horrible. 87 something. You know what? I'm just going to add... By the way, you guys, I want to host just a doubt solving sort of session, because I feel so many people have so many questions regarding where we're going with UI UX design and regarding their own careers right now. Would you guys be interested on Wednesday on having a live stream that just answers your questions? Would anyone be interested in that? Just type yes in the chat. That would be amazing. Just getting on here and answering whatever questions you guys have. Just that. SKULED says yes. SKULED and the rest of the world watching on 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, Wednesday, which is 26th of February, I will be live here and I'm going to answer any questions that you might have. Put down all of your questions in a giant list, because that is going to be the dedicated session and it's going to be so much fun, you guys. I promise. This has been the most innovative footer I've ever made in my entire life. I had not planned for it. By the way, if you have a portfolio that is either not converting, not giving you job or freelance opportunities, or you don't have a portfolio at all, you are actually missing out on very real opportunities that come in through the door when you do have your own portfolio website. You can get that made in 3 hours. I will turn the whole entirety of this UI into a really, really nice looking website, and that will be available to you as well. I will be throwing the biggest parade in the world, but again, this is going to be in its own portfolio masterclass that happens 2nd of March. If you're interested, sign up really quickly because the seats might run out from the link in the description. Harsh says big yes. That is amazing. All of you guys just add all of the questions you have in a big list somewhere. I'm going to be live here, and we're going to probably announce this as well on Wednesday 26th of February and 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, answering every single question you guys have on UI UX design, unfiltered, no secrets left behind. Everything I know in my whole head related to UI UX design is yours on Wednesday. Come join me live. It is completely free, of course, but if you're also looking to up your portfolio, up what you're doing currently, if your portfolio isn't converting, if you're in any of those messes, you can get out of that mess in 3 hours or even less with the Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass for the teeny tiny price of $14.92. That's literally the cost of a pizza that you can get in any normal city. That money just vanishes. So I feel like that's the smallest price we could keep it at. Seats are limited. Many are already filled. Go sign up now from the link in the description, or sign up when this website comes out, which I will also be revealing in this week itself. I will see you really, really soon. Just please go sign up for the Launch Your Own Portfolio Masterclass. Help yourself and help me. Date is 2nd March. Time is 5 to 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. I will see you there. And if you guys have any questions, one last time, keep them in a list. I'm going to be live Wednesday 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time right here, 26th of February. And we're going to answer them. No filters at all in the field of UI UX design. Don't go personal. All right, I will see you again. Keep designing, keep smiling.